Hello, my name is Andrew David, family of Vondenheuvel, and I know I haven't made a video in a while, so I'm going to put this down. I've really been been doing some research into trust law and living on the private side, and just really submerged myself in it on top of millions of other things that I've been working on and getting into. But I'm going to set you down because I don't have my phone holder or anything, so I just wanted to say hi and give a little chat this morning, see if I can't get what's on my mind on the record. So, alright, you guys can ride with me on my way to work. So, what I've been going through and thinking about a lot is just like, how can I get all of this put together to make a comprehensive interpretation of how I'm seeing all of this get put together. Okay, so I recently got into these 1099As through Chris Hauser, and there's several others out there talking about it, but I really gleaned a lot and learned a lot from what Chris has put forth. And how I'm seeing it is that these are steps. We're taking steps to our freedom, to our financial freedom. And how I'm seeing it is that these things, these 1099As, and eventually, I guess he's going to be getting into the lines of credit, and I kind of see how that's working because I'm really working on my studies so I can be set up to accept your 1099As. Now, I ain't getting rid of no cars, I ain't getting rid of no houses, I'm not a realtor, I'm not anything other than I want to be a farmer, I want to be a grower, I want to grow food for y'all, I want to grow food for my family, and be able to have good recipes that, you know, when people, if I ever come into legal problems, I can look to you legal people that spend your time in the legal field. I don't have time for it. I really want to. I really want to join these study groups and stuff, but they kind of got a whole block on what information. That's the way I see it. But anyways, it's kind of getting sidetracked. These 1099s are like, and the IRS have kind of set themselves up to be St. Peter at the pearly gates. Okay, so you must die to be able to get into this, into heaven or hell, whatever you want to call it, which this is it. This is our heaven and hell. We were blessed with these bodies to be able to have the experience here, but there are certain bodies and mindsets and intellectualism that have ultimately put themselves in these positions, and they're entities, IRS entities, Federal Reserve entities. These are all just means to get what they want. You know, what these other bodies have set up for us to believe have more power than we do. And through the schooling systems and all that, they just instill and reinforce the doubt in us. So as we keep dying, we keep coming back ignorant, if not even more ignorant. There's a lot of ignorance that I've had to come through. 8 years ago, roughly, I started this journey. And looking back at how many rabbit holes I've been down and just finding my way out of it all, out of all of these complexities. That's what I'm getting at with these 1099As and these IRSs and everybody. These are all complexities. These are all the loopholes that they expect us to jump through. As children of God, being born into this realm, we already have everything. You all have everything. And I know we got to take steps because it's just a progress. But I don't want to see us fall into this poisonous progress to where everything is tainted and we're still relying on these entities, on these false logical fallacies that still enslave us, that we still rely on to think that they're the gatekeepers to something. You hold all the keys. You hold all the keys. We all do. And, you know, when we get to that point of knowing that we don't have titles, we don't have any type of egoic structure other than to know that our life matters enough that we protect it and others. So to end this evil, to end this level of slavery, we have to get beyond this. And yes, I'm trying to use the 1099As to get where I'm at. But ultimately, what I would love to have and love to be able to do is just open these lines of credit, open the gates, you know, use my keys to open the gates for me to help open the gates for you. So you can sit at home and not have to worry about going to the grocery store because you're involved in your study. You're involved in experiencing your study. You know, and you're not stuck in what we don't want to do. And that's what these entities are doing. They're means to an end. That means that we just keep on recreating the same old bullshit. The same old struggles, the same old mundane go to work and pay taxes, and you know, these brainwashing mantras that we live through, that we live our lives out by, and it's just all based on influence. It's all based on what we're being taught and how to experience things. You know, and when we can get beyond that, maybe we'll start understanding people like Raymond Karczewski, who has passed away like last July, who was a really, I can't even say influence, not even a mentor. I listened to him and I was able to spiritually see what he was saying. As far as these entities and the control that they have over our lives. You know, like people say money runs the world, or money makes the world go round. Is that not a brainwashing mantra in and of itself? That we rely on this money like it's God? God don't even make the world go round. He made the world and we're living in it. You know, that is the world that I'm of. This whole commercial world, they've already labeled you dead. What if the birth certificate was actually a death certificate? You know, and us being born into this realm was actually proof that you died somewhere else, because there's so many limitations here that we've allowed these limitations to enter into this realm from the other realm. Because just like we're born, these corporations and these entities are born. They have birth certificates, they have startup dates, you know, there's a beginning and an end. There is no beginning and there is no end. There is only now. And now is the only time it ever will be. Ever. We can project our ideas and we can look into the future, but when we can really get beyond all those thoughts of doubt, scarcity, fear, even hope and faith and all these things, they're all still ideas that have been painted to us through books like the Bible. And don't matter what religion you're from, because they all paint the picture of the way that life is supposed to be in that culture, the way that you're supposed to interpretate, and the way that you're supposed to look at certain situations that you're in. Instead, we get movies, we get books, we get video games, we get all types of influences and a structure that they want us to follow, to think that that's the way that this life is here. We enter this body living and breathing. Well, most of us do. Some of us don't make it that far. To be able to learn lessons and experience this life and to create a heaven on earth. And how are we even contributing to a heaven on earth if we believe in these fallacies that other bodies have manufactured for us to follow? And I don't know how to get through it alone, because, you know, I can sit here and I can do all them things, but if we're not taking the steps that need to be taken, I can't even say that we'll have chaos. Maybe we'll end up with order, and since we've been thinking that this chaotic world is order for so long, we wouldn't even know what to do with it. Would we know what to do if we were actually had a taste of freedom? Tell you I do. I just want to grow food. I just want to live my life and be left alone. You know, and even if this is death, when I do die, I'm still in the moment. I'm still connected to. There's no bounds. There's no boundaries. We were put here to create this heaven on earth. Now, the people that have created the evil, and they benefit from it because their egos have become so calcified that they think that they get to make the rules, they get to anything that they can to set themselves up further than we are or that we could be. It's all bullshit, is what I'm calling it. And getting more people involved in these 1099A processes, we're going to eliminate these things. If people can understand and grasp the totality of these forms that we can use them to eventually eliminate the banks that are creating the strife and struggle and the scarcities. Or eliminate the big factories and the big corporations that are limiting the way that people, oh, you don't make this amount, you can't have this. You already have everything. That's why there's millions upon millions of dollars supposedly in these death certificates that we have. There is no boundaries to the dead. There are no limitations. After you die and you're reborn in a spiritual way, you start to see things in an unlimited type of factor. You see the limitations, and you know that they really don't exist, but they still hold you back because there's not enough people that can grasp this, and there's ultimately more people with enough calcified egos that they think they still get to determine who gets the house, who gets the car, who gets the property. And chances are that they're the people that are doing the most damage and destruction to the world because they're not afraid to go out and make that money for the corporation. See how it's just illusion on top of illusion on top of illusion? This is hell that we're creating, and we don't even know it. We need to wake up and really start understanding. Let's start using these 1099s and getting the homeless people into homes. Use these 1099s to get where you need to be inside of your community, doing what you need to do. You know, there's people out there that are armed. There's people out there that are armed with the legality side of it and know how to handle the corporations and stuff. There's people out there that know how to farm. There's doctors out there that know how to doctor. And instead, we set up these entities that say that, you know, like the next Albert Einstein can't be Albert Einstein because he doesn't fit some numerical ritualistic code. Or he's not, his parents didn't make enough money for him to get the scholarships and the credentials that he needs to be anything other than driving a freaking hammer and a nail. And I'm not even saying that that's a bad thing, because them are important skills. But what I'm saying is that they set up financial limitations for people that are driving the hammer and nails, because that's what I do, and I see how I'm looked at and by my paycheck that I don't deserve to have a child go to some big fancy school and get a nice education. Supposedly that's what we're all working for. I see the best education that we could do is being a good parent. And I can't be a good parent when I'm tied up at work all the time. None of us can. And we can all build our skills from home without having these 40-hour week limiters. And that's what they are. They limit us. So I just had to get some things off my chest, and maybe y'all understand or see where I'm coming from, and maybe we can really move forward on this and start making these entities work for us. We need to start putting the chains on them. You know, you want to have a corporation to do better, then be set up to accept these 1099s, or just be willing to set up a trust or anything between private individuals doing private business amongst each other. We have the capability of doing it. Let's do it. And, you know, all this, and I'm bad about it too, so I'm not bashing anybody about this pussyfooting around and oh, I don't know enough, and no, I haven't gotten the enough experience in all this. All that's hogwash. If you know fairness, if you know how to be fair with people and not cut yourself short, there'll be gobs of people growing food. It don't have to just be a compartmentalized pyramid of all your food sources is going to come from here. I think a family could grow enough food for 5 people on a reasonable, respectable amount of land with the proper tools and equipment to be able to preserve and food, so that them people that are learning the deeper aspects and philosophical points of life and spiritual ways, that it'll bleed through each other. We don't have to have the walls that we're setting up in our own minds. We need to break them down to instead of seeing separation, we need to see the togetherness. And, it keeps on being echoed, that we're all one. But nobody wants to live like it because, well, hell, if we do that, this person's going to get ahead of us because we're setting ourselves back on this idea that people take advantage of it. And if we were taught how to correct that, it wouldn't be going on in the way that it is today. We got soft. And I ain't saying go out there and start wars and stuff. I'm saying just stick up for people that are doing it. And not put so much doubt, oh, that'll never work. That's just crazy talk. It's not crazy talk. What's crazy talk is letting these entities push you around. These demons, or even some people see them as angels. They're not. They just are. They're things that we can realize and recognize through pattern recognition what they're doing in the greater scheme of things, in the moment. And we got to put them in check. That's what I see Hauser did. People like Raymond Karczewski's doing. Mark Passio, to help you empower yourself to be able to see these things and put an end to it. To put a stop to it. I really want to say I'm seeing the community grow, but even being involved in some fellowships and some more private things, they're still trapped in these ideas that they have to have permission. And I'm guilty of it too sometimes, but I know that I don't. But it's the other people that think that you do that hold you back. It's all hogwash. We've all been bamboozled, and it's time to get over it. And wake up and see these things, these limitations, and start bettering ourselves regardless of what laws and what statutes or what any type of limitation these entities are projecting for other bodies to enforce. So, I'm done with my rant. I hope you all have a good idea and see what I'm talking about. Bye.